Hello there, guys. Welcome back to Younes Talks Football. Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. You guys are getting another double upload. And if you haven't caught the memo already from my special guest that is on today, this could end up becoming a regular thing. But I thought, as we've already done a video on his channel, so check it out. Links in the description. I'll leave a card up here as well. But my special guest is none other than Mr. GBFC himself, George Benson. Benson, mate, how are you doing? How's it going?
Up the Chelsea, mate. I'm doing good. I think the fact that Chelsea haven't lost the match for 4 days now, I think, has just brightened my mood dramatically. We could have another 4 days without losing. So I'm currently feeling positive about life. And I'm very excited to do this video today because I've got a funny feeling we're going to be talking about players that might eventually score goals potentially for us.
Yeah, we got to find out a way to do that thing that needs to be done in football, isn't it? Which is put the ball in the net.
Yeah.
That would help, don't you think?
Big time. I think more than anything else, like obviously it's a results-based business, but like I don't remember the last time I could actually properly celebrate and get confident that my celebration was going to be valuable in the sense of 3 points. Like even when we scored against West Ham, I'm like, well, they're probably going to score a goal, aren't they? Let's be honest. And the fact we've done this once is a miracle. So try do it twice. All right, we'll try, but we don't succeed ever.
I forgot what it feels like to win a match. Have you forgotten?
Yeah. We're so blessed that we've won enough games in our lifetime to have ever been able to feel that in the first place. But to ever do it again at the moment seems like a long way off. But we can pray, we can hope, we can dream.
We can, and the possible solution, which is what's being touted by many people, whether affiliated with Chelsea or whether pundits or whatever, is that Chelsea need a striker. Now, don't forget to pop over to George's channel. We've done a tier list of what the squad could be looking like next season, whether that's with Graham Potter, as predicted in the video, or if it's not going to be, but the squad are going to remain exactly as it is. So we've given our tier list in terms of who we think is going to be staying and who's going to be going. Do check that out. But the topic here is that final piece to the puzzle, which is mad. I don't think I've said that since we got Lukaku. I was screaming that was going to be the final piece to the puzzle. And your cat could be the final piece to the puzzle.
My cat's like, yes, they need a striker.
You need me. Stick George's cat up front for Chelsea. Hat-trick incoming. The striker situation is massive, right? You've got your picks. I've got my picks. I don't know what your picks are, and you don't know what mine are.
I do not.
But we've come up with 3 names each that we reckon could be the solution, right, to Chelsea's striker problems. So let's start off. Have you ranked them? Have you got them from 3 to 1?
I've got my number 1. Yeah, I do. And I do. I have my order.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll start off with 3. And then we'll go up to 2 and then go up to who our number 1 pick would be, right? So
sure.
We'll start off. Who have you got in number 3?
I've got Alexander Mitrovic as number 3.
I wasn't expecting that.
I absolutely love the bloke. I think he's phenomenal. You want me to explain now? All right, I'll explain.
Yeah.
Okay, Chelsea
need to travel far. That's a good thing, but go on.
Yeah. It's not the most logistically impossible transfer to do. There's no potential tube delays that could count this one off in the last seconds of the window like a Ziyech move. The reason I would love Chelsea to sign Mitrovic, I've said it for a long time, Chelsea need a striker who has got an attitude, who has got the same kind of charisma that a Diego Costa had. We've all heard the famous quotes when Costa first met John Terry and they're talking about going to war with Diego Costa, walking into Terry's club and talking to Terry like he's going to be the right-hand man now, the sidekick. So I think Mitrovic is that kind of player where not only have you got an incredibly brilliant proven goal scoring record in the Premier League across English football, but he's also got that ability to rally people around him. I think he absolutely loves being at Fulham. He's been very loyal to Fulham. And I think he would only leave for a club that is evidently a step up in his career for the potential of what he can go on to achieve. And I think Chelsea would be that. So I think Mitrovic is one of those where not only do you get like a proper number 9 player as well, but you've got, I think, very little that can go wrong with this. I think if he was playing in a Chelsea team that have such a high XG as we do under Graham Potter, then those goal scoring numbers would go up. if XG was actually that important.
Not fair play in terms of the whole XG debate is honestly something else. We need to
Just
have
give me a goal before we start
time.
talking about XG, please. Like,
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
No, you know what, Mitrovic. I want to. Are you confident with Mitrovic, considering that? Remember when Fulham came up the last time and he was doing so well in the Championship, came to the Premier League and it didn't look great, and now he's come up again and it's banging. So. Yeah. Do you reckon it's just a case of having the right manager? Do you think he has all the tools, or do you think there are things to improve on?
I mean, I think if you look at Fulham now, no offense to Marco Silva, but I wouldn't say he's up there top 5 managers in the Premier League. I wouldn't say Graham Potter is up there at the moment based off of what we see either. But I think if you look at Mitrovic, you're not taking a gamble in the sense of age. We don't need to give him time because, quite frankly, Chelsea aren't in a position to give a potential new goal scorer time right now. I think he would come in and just bag goals.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. I wasn't expecting you to say Mitrovic, I have to say, considering, but I get the logic. I get the logic, and we'll see what happens. With my number 3rd pick, I've gone with Vlahovic of Juve because I do think that there is a case to be made with Juve in the mud with the way that they've done, I don't know, the way that they've conducted themselves, the way that they keep getting into trouble. Apparently, they're going to need to get rid of players, and there's probably an opportunity to get a player like Vlahovic at a cut price, even though they've only just got him. But because of the circumstance, because of it's not been that long at Juve, that's why I've got him at number 3. I don't think it will happen, but it's definitely someone I would take. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think good player. But again, I think that for me, it's about when players, strikers in particular, come from another league.
Yeah.
With Chelsea's track record of having the most filled graveyard for strikers in world football, I'd just be so worried that I think Chelsea are at a point now after Lukaku, in my opinion, where the next striker who comes in, it's pretty much do or die. Because there's not been anywhere near enough quality goal scorers coming through the door. Like, look at the way we reacted when we signed Timo Werner. Rightly so, by the way. You look at the highlight reels of his first stint in Leipzig. You look at just how breathtaking some of his goals were. Like, how could anyone foreshadow that Timo Werner couldn't hit a barn door at certain times at Chelsea Football Club? So I think, again, I'd be more concerned bringing in a player from another league who, again, has been kind of jumping around clubs, Vlahovic, a little bit. So it's like he's not really settled in anywhere. So who's to say he'd settle in at a club where strikers don't ever settle in? I think he's a good player. I back your point, but yeah, I'd be a bit worried.
That's a point. Does he have more to prove? I think so. Yeah. He's done well in his career, but it's true. Chelsea have this thing where we get strikers from anywhere at the moment. We haven't had someone stable since Diego Costa, and that was a very long time ago now. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Your number 2.
My number 2.
Let's see it, because I think I know who, and I'm good. Go on. Who is it?
Karim Benzema.
Oh, okay.
Did you forget that he's a free agent? Did you see how good this guy was last night, Younes?
You know what's mad? I did forget.
Unreal.
I did forget he's a free agent.
Like, think about this, right? Chelsea need leaders. Chelsea need to build a spine of a team. Yes, okay, Benzema's not going to be around forever, but Ibrahimovic was doing it for a long time. Cristiano Ronaldo was doing it for a long time. And Karim Benzema absolutely belongs in that conversation alongside those names. And if he leaves Real Madrid, right now he is still one of the most goal scorers in the finest of forms in Europe, playing for the European champions. And if Chelsea turn their nose up at the potential to sign this man for free when we can't score any goals, then I'm sorry, Todd, but I'm knocking on your door. Graham, I'm knocking on your door, mate, and I'm bringing Younes, I'm bringing Janislav Ivanovic with me, and we're taking over. Because how could Chelsea not even be in the conversation for Karim Benzema if he is free?
It's crazy that... No, you know what? I did actually forget that. How's it you not got a new contract? What's going on there? Do you know the ins and outs?
I don't know. I think if you're Real Madrid, you're doing everything to keep this man there. And I think as long as they offer him something he's happy with, he stays, because he is a Real Madrid legend. who deserves to be spoken about in the same light as Raul, Cristiano Ronaldo. But I think if he can't strike that deal, who does he go to? Maybe he goes to PSG, but like, how they got space to fit him in there? Like, what are they going to do with him? He don't go to Barcelona because he doesn't ruin his legacy there. He's not going to degrade himself and go to Italy. So he's got to be a Chelsea player, mate.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It would be foolish to allow someone like Benzema, even at his age, because the age is a factor. But at least if it buys us time in the short term to have someone like Benzema and to see if he can do it in the Premier League. These sort of players,
too good, man. Look what he did against Liverpool.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
exactly. I think so. Although, you know, he plays against Sean Dyche's Everton, you never know.
Good point. I didn't think about that. Can I retract my statement now? No one scored against them.
That's fair. You know, I have to say, because of the contract situation, I didn't think of Benzema. I mean, you do think of Benzema, but I didn't think of putting him in on the list because I just thought there's no way he's ever leaving Madrid. He's going to retire there. I'd want to change my answer to Benzema because of that. I've got Harry Kane at number 2.
Oh, yeah. But I probably should have thought about him as number 3. Good shout. Brilliant shout. Yeah. What a player. Shocking football club he plays for too. What a waste.
Who knows? We'll see what happens on Sunday. He might do the business against us. He might not. But
he will. He will.
I'm trying to be at least a little bit optimistic. But considering that I would 100% say Harry Kane in a Chelsea shirt would bang. Surely.
I'd imagine if it didn't, though. Imagine you leave Tottenham having never won anything, but you are their greatest ever footballer and probably the best player that will ever play football there in the history of time. Like, they won't get anyone better than him. And then he comes to Chelsea and just flops, and Chelsea just flop. Like, what a disaster that would be for old Barry Train. It would be awful.
Mate, if Harry Kane flopped, we retired the number 9 shirt, we put it in the bin, it's never coming out again.
Yeah, leave it in the museum and it will not come out ever again.
Leave it in the museum as you'd actually put it on display as the shirt where every player failed. Like, it'd be a thing that people can actually come and visit just of how incredible that is.
Pure footballing heritage.
Proper football heritage. But I'd have Harry Kane, as much as I know that deal was nearly impossible, because Chelsea and Tottenham, I don't think would ever do business of that magnitude, unless if Tottenham got desperate for money, which I don't think is the case, especially with their new stadium that fits NFL matches, Beyonce concerts, all sorts of madness entertainment going on there, boxing events, they've got all sorts going there. So they'll be all right for money, but Harry Kane would definitely be an asset, 100%. But I've got him down as number 2. I don't think it'll ever happen. Number 2.
Very good shout.
You're number 1.
Should we say it at the same time on a countdown?
We can if you want. Full name? First name and last name?
Yes. He's one of those players, I think, who has to be said full name.
Okay.
For me.
All right. We'll do that.
Okay. You count me in.
All right. We'll go. 3, 2, 1.
Victor Osimhen. I knew it. That's the only one of yours I was sure I was going to know as well, to be fair.
You just knew. Yeah. And the rumours are there. And he was a Chelsea fan growing up, although I don't want to use that because we use that for Lukaku, so let's not.
Yeah. No, it still sounds so nice, though, doesn't it? Like, he actually would.
Yeah,
I think he'd
fantastic.
love to play for Chelsea. I do.
I would. And he said it himself when he was 16. Then again, so did Lukaku.
I always think about this, right? Like, if I was to play football, let's say right now, all of a sudden I had a glow up at 28 years old and I just became like Tech God O'Houlihan and I could become a professional footballer and I get offered a contract at like Portsmouth or let's say Southampton for argument's sake. I don't think I could play for him. I don't think I'd take the money. I couldn't score a goal. I couldn't celebrate any footballing goal that wasn't a Chelsea goal. Imagine Victor Osimhen. Every time he puts the ball in the back of the net for Napoli, which is frequent, he's just wishing it was a different shade of blue. How can he do this? How can you score a football goal for another team that isn't your club?
He's outstanding. Well, I say outstanding. This season, he's been outstanding. Prior to that, he's been fairly good. But this season, he's blown up. And Is it the way that Napoli are playing? Is it the setup? Is it just confidence, form? Because that definitely plays a part for any striker. If you got form and you feel like you're the best thing since sliced bread, you are gonna bang in goals. It's mentality. But he's got attributes as well. I mean, it's not long ago Jose spoke about him because obviously he's Roma manager, but and saying that if he is like Didier.
Yeah.
The only thing that he's got to change if he does go to the Premier League, which is a very interesting quote because Jose just went straight there. And when if he does go to England, right, he can succeed like Didier did, but he's got to dive less, which is a fair point. But
It's one of them things though that you just think he will eventually stop doing that because he doesn't need to compensate for the fact he's already just bagging and bagging and bagging.
yeah,
Like I sometimes feel like some players dive because they're trying too hard because maybe they're not reaching the levels that they know they should or that's expected of them. Some players just do it for fun, like Neymar. But I think for Victor Osimhen now, he's at such a high level now that I think it's one of those things where if that's the only thing we're saying that he needs to change to be like Didier Drogba, I flip him back it. I absolutely back it. And I think something that I saw about a year ago now that was super interesting was, I don't know if you ever watched Will Troost-Ekong, the ex-Watford Nigeria centre-back. So he was doing vlogs, and he was saying in the vlogs about Victor Osimhen, just about how special of a footballer he is, and not just that, about how great of a person he is, which I think Chelsea now, again, you said it, don't want to bring up the same thing as Lukaku, but if he's a Chelsea fan, and he's a good person, and he's easy to work with, and he wants to be here, come on. Like that to me that's why he's my number one, because it's just like, okay, we're talking about one of the most exciting prospects still, because he's not old, but he's not young. He's 24 years old, I think. So
he is, 24.
Yeah, so you're buying a player who's probably not even reached their prime yet as a striker. Look at striker primes now: Lewandowski, Benzema, Ronaldo. These guys are hitting primes in mid-30s, which is outrageous. So you're buying a striker for 10 years at the highest level. And Chelsea desperately need goals. We desperately need a striker. And we also need some cohesion. We need some super glue. We need some duct tape in this team. And I think that tape is players that really, really want to be at Chelsea. And I think if Chelsea would have come in with the right offer, Victor Osimhen would be jumping at the chance.
I think so. Although last season, and I've got it here, he had, considering Napoli were playing Europa League football, 18 goals in 32 appearances. And this season is considerably better. And I mean, that's not a bad return. But this season, in and of itself, 20 and 24. What's changed? Do you just think that it's his growth, it's his own personal development? Do you think there's other external factors?
I mean, look at this Napoli team. They've got some phenomenal players in there now. I don't want to butcher the name of that winger who once again last night got a ludicrous assist in the Champions League.
The one that starts with K.
From Georgia. He's a phenomenal footballer. So he's playing around players now who have really bought into a system, who have really improved as a team. But then again, at the same time, we've been hearing the name Victor Osimhen now for 3 or 4 years in terms of keep an eye on this kid, keep an eye on this guy. This guy's going to be the next big deal. And some players don't reach that height of expectation, and some do. And he is. And I think I think he would absolutely kill it in the Prem. And I think finally, if Chelsea were to go and buy him, Chelsea would have a proper striker again. First one since Diego Costa.
I have to say, I feel the same. I want to ask, though, finally, do you have any PTSD on Lukaku when you look at Osimhen, considering he's banging in Syria, just like Lukaku did? Loved Chelsea as a kid, just like Lukaku did. Do you think he comes into the Prem and does really well, or do you think he finds it difficult because it is the Premier League?
Can I use the swear word that begins with the letter D?
Yeah, go for it.
Lukaku's a dickhead. He's just an absolute dickhead. So I have PTSD for Lukaku, but I wouldn't associate it with Victor Osimhen because Lukaku is just a bellend.
Fair enough.
I don't even want to talk about that guy. Like, he's just an idiot. That's 3 insults there. Sorry, I'm not abusing him. It's not online abuse. It is. It's just my opinion. It's just an idiot.
No. You know what?
I have to say it again.
That absolutely sums it up. I do agree. Just on to take one diversion before I go to Osimhen and we end. There is the rumor apparently that Lukaku could end up coming back in the summer. What do you say? What do you think? Even though it's pretty clear as day, but would you accept it? Would you be like, all right, we'll just go with the flow? Are you against it? Like,
I'm fully against it, but I say the same thing all the time. I support players who play for Chelsea. At this moment in time, the 22nd of February 2022, 23. After everything I've seen from Lukaku since he re-signed for Chelsea, that is what formulates my opinion that he's a bellend. If, for whatever reason, he ends up back at Chelsea and is given a shot and he apologises, or at least makes it clear that he is empathetic with fans' frustrations with the way that he's not only failed in the second stint, but the way he caused such a rift for the club last season. If he was to do that and then score 20 goals in 20 games, I'd like it.
Fair enough. That's a fair judgment.
But the standards of expectation would be through the roof because of my dismay at the fact it's ever considered in the first place.
Yeah, because I've got an element to me where I agree with that, but I've still got an element to me where I'm like, I don't care. There's other strikers. Like that pride kicks in of I don't care how good you are or what you can be. I don't want you here. But I completely understand that maybe that's a bit irrational. Maybe if he does apologize sincerely this time, because the last one was definitely not sincere, and does prove himself, then fair enough. But Osimhen, I want to end on the fact that we've had Didier Drogba, as we've already discussed. We know what that's like. It's fantastic. There is a sense of mentality is a problem at this club. Do you agree that there is a case to be made with Osimhen because of the form that he's on, the confidence that he has, and as someone of an African background? Do you think that plays a part of that ruthless, never say die sort of attitude that does tend to come from players of that African mentality? Do you think that would be an asset, especially Osimhen scoring goals in the way that he is at the moment?
Yeah, I think it is, again, like we talk about cutting edge in strikers, and cutting edge isn't just about like the type of goals you score, it's about the mental attitude. And I think the mental attitude, especially at a place like Chelsea where we enter turbulence before we've even taken off.
Yeah.
We need people with a level head and with that edge, not just a cutting, finishing edge, but with an edge to them as people where they can either deal with adversity or help others deal with adversity and grab people together and be like, look, we're Chelsea, we're in trouble, but I'm going to be your captain today and I'm taking you out of this misery. And I think he has the potential, from what I understand of him, again, never had a glass of water with him, as I always like to say, so I don't know for a fact, but some players you can just tell. Some players you can just see it in the way that they walk in the tunnel. You can see it with the way they interact with their teammates on the pitch and the way they conduct themselves in interviews. And I think Victor Osimhen is that guy.
Fair enough. I have to say, I completely agree. I'd love for Chelsea to go in for a bid. We've had pretty successful African contingency at Chelsea before. I think it'd be a case for us for that to be reborn, especially of someone in a position that we absolutely need. What bid do you reckon is fair to get Osimhen? How much do you think we would need to pay?
Well, first of all, I think we need to pay them to have Lukaku because he's rubbish. So I think maybe 120 mil plus Lukaku should get him.
Bloody hell. I mean, you know what? Do it. I don't care. Do it.
I'm not even kidding, by the way. I genuinely think that is what, especially if Napoli go all the way in the Champions League, highly probable because of how good they are, they're going to ask for something ludicrous. So it could easily be 100 mil plus Lukaku.
Yeah, because the market value for Osimhen at the moment is around 70. That's market value. So they'll definitely ask for about 120 or so. It'd be funny if we were to throw. It'd be hilarious if we were to bid 120 plus Lukaku and they turn around and accept, but they say no, we don't want Lukaku. We'll take the money.
We'll still take your money. I think that's a perfect way to wrap it up. We've rinsed Lukaku. We've made a sick video. Chelsea have signed 3 new strikers. We're delighted.
winning the quadruple. Fantastic.
Everything.
Bring it on.
Club World Cup will just be given to us, even if we don't win the Champions League. We're done. Finished.
Absolutely banging. Thank you for coming on, mate. And as we've already said,
Thank you for
this
having me.
is looking like it could be a regular thing. So make sure you let us know in the comments if you enjoy it. If you don't, for whatever reason, please, we're open to criticism. But make sure you go and check out the video that we've done on George's channel with the tier list. And yeah, much appreciated for coming on, George. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a good one.
Pleasure.
Lovely jubbly. Make sure you subscribe to George if you haven't already somehow, if you're living in a cave, because he is absolutely smashing it on his channel at the moment. So make sure you're there too for all Chelsea content. And make sure you subscribe here, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified once you've uploaded, smash like button if you have enjoyed this. Don't forget that. And we will see you very, very soon. As George's expression says it all. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a good one in a bit and peace.
I love making videos.